What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Back with my Doghouse review. Floyd Money Mayweather had his media day today. Shout out to the Mayweather Gym. The link is in the description. Shout out to Showtime. And I just want to give some quick thoughts on what I've seen. First of all, Floyd Mayweather did his first ever open sparring session in general, but definitely at a media day. A lot of times we see in the media days, like, it doesn't matter the fighter, Cotto, Pacquiao, Mayweather, all of the past media days, usually you don't get to see any sparring, right? It's just not something that people do. Most of the time when they get in the ring, it's like some mitt work or shadow boxing, things like that. You don't really get that at the media day. So Floyd, he broke the mold, and Floyd particularly is normally top secret G14 classified when it comes to his sparring sessions. Like they said in the telecast that Leonard Ellerby says Showtime, probably to make their montages and trailers, they've requested sparring footage and they denied them the sparring footage because they just want to keep it under wraps, I guess. And that's fair because you don't want to see vulnerabilities or what people had success with in your sparring session, other guys. You don't want opponents or whatnot to get a hold of things like that. So that makes sense. But he treated the fans to a sparring session. I kind of want to talk about what I seen there. And that was unique. I didn't really expect that, especially from Floyd Mayweather, who, again, is top secret about it. He had some good work. I mean, the man went 24 to 30 minutes long. I didn't really count. There were long rounds. There were doghouse rules because the guys don't even know when the round's over. There's no bell or hitting a piece of wood. It's just, it goes on until someone says time, and then they go in their corner. Now, here's the other catch. It's not a minute rest period. They go and re-energize, go to their corner for 30 seconds, swig a little water or whatever, and cool off, and then they're right back at it. And you've seen it, especially in the second sparring partner that Mayweather had. Towards the end, his sparring partner, and you got to keep in mind both of the sparring partners were significantly younger than Floyd. Floyd being 38, and those guys were 19, 20-ish. And they looked exhausted after it. So that's one thing I noticed. Other thing I noticed is Floyd's body work looked really good. He was fighting a Mexican sparring partner from Sonora, and he was letting his hands go. Both sparring sessions, he was fighting more aggressive than he probably will in the actual fight. He was fighting kind of flat-footed, kind of putting on a show. I liked his body work. He looked sharp. The thing I noticed about Floyd that really just stands out is it's shocking how comfortable he is in there. So Floyd, he switched out the sparring partner, so he was giving that work to the first dude, the gentleman from Sonora, and he was letting his hands go, and he kind of beat up on him, especially towards the end where he's throwing these combinations. You could tell the guy was getting hurt and getting clipped, and at the end he was just like, okay, just go, you're done. Like, just dismissed him, like, I schooled you. Then he brought the second dude in, and the dude's holding his own, landed some cool shots, not anything that I would get overly confident on. But the thing is, this is how you can always tell who has a crazy defense, is even though Floyd is fighting more flat-footed and more offensive-minded in the sparring session, like meaning he was fighting flat-footed, coming forward a bit more, putting together his punches more because it's a sparring session. And he was in there, I think some of the guys, I don't know about the first guy, but the second guy is a 140-pounder who, now that's the other thing, some people are going to be like, oh, I hate talking to casuals. They'll be like, oh, he's fighting an undersized guy. First of all, your weight that you compete at is usually and rarely the weight you walk around at. So the guys, a lot of these guys are about the same size as Floyd walking around because Floyd is cutting because he has the Berto fight September 12th. So he's coming down in his weight, and this other guy doesn't even have a fight lined up. So again, they're probably around the same weight anyway. Anyway, I just have to clear that for the casuals. But so he's fighting him. The guy is holding his own. He's young. And then, like I said, Floyd is fighting a bit more aggressive than normal. And his defense is still good, where he's still getting hit less than a Ruslan Provodnikov who plows forward, or Brandon Rio. So it's crazy how Floyd is. He's just really is a complete fighter where he can mix it up. And he was having fun in there. You could see it. These guys really weren't a threat. It's like he had control at all times. He was dancing. There was points where he's looking away. There's points where he's looking at the camera. He's like, hello, America. Hey, how you guys doing? And he's not even looking at his opponent. And I know some people are going to come out with the conspiracy theories like, oh, this was staged and he paid him to not look as good. But if that was the case, then why wouldn't he pay him to knock him out and then really put on a show or a spectacle? So, I mean, there's no indication that this wasn't two guys who were trying to shine. I mean, I know if I'm 19 or 20 years old and I'm on this platform and it's a filled out Mayweather gym and I'm a professional fighter, like one of the guys is undefeated as a pro. That's a way to get your name up, you know what I'm saying, to get your rank up. So I wouldn't want to be the person who took a dive or whatever. And again, no one got knocked out or anything like that. So I don't know. I just have a level of pride, especially if you have a professional career of your own. Why would you want to get dogged? Why would you want to just take some money just to get dogged in front of people? So I think it looked like a real sparring session. There was no indication that it wasn't real. But again, I know how some of you conspiracy theorists work. You just want anything to discredit the man. But like I said, he looked sharp. I like the body work. He was comfortable. And it's just the thing that really stands out is how fluid he is. And he's accurate. And he can switch from offense to defense. And even though he's fighting a more aggressive style, he still is mindful of his defense and is still better than other guys who are purely offensive fighters. And it just, to me, it seems fluid and natural versus Adrian Broner. I've seen him do the same things where he's in sparring sessions talking, you know, AB, athletic, he's doing all that in the round. I've even seen him do it in live fights where he's like, shaking his head, you can't hit me, you know, AB, you can't, Paulie, you can't hit me. And Paulie was actually hitting him. So to me, when Broner does it, it's kind of like a knockoff. It's a facade because the things that he's doing, he's not really even in control of the fight. He's telling Paulie Malignaggi or Maidana, you can't hit me, you can't hit me. And Maidana's killing him and winning the rounds and had already knocked him down. You know what I'm saying? But when Mayweather's doing it, he was talking shit. He was talking a gang of shit. He was like, I'm Floyd Money Mayweather. I'm Floyd Mayweather. Take that. And he was just like letting his hands go a bit more and talking shit as he did it. But the biggest difference is he's not doing that and then not being in control. So he has the bull by the horns when he does it versus when I've seen Adrian Broner do it. A lot of times he's talking that same type of shit and that competitive streak or whatever you want to call it, but he's not in control of the fight. Like, you shouldn't have been talking to Maidana because Maidana is trying to take your head off. And that's the difference in seasoning that I've noticed with like a Broner or whoever else versus a Mayweather. When he's doing it because I guess he's that good and he can afford to do it because he's in control at that moment. And the other thing, the last thing is he never or rarely does it that I remember in fight. This is just sparring. He's trying to bring the best out of himself and the opponents, and maybe that's how he works. But he's always respectful and calculated in the actual fight. So he looked pretty good. And again, I'm not going overboard like, oh, he looked great. He was in there with guys that he should look great, because you have to keep in mind from a realistic perspective. Some of you guys, oh, why didn't he knock him out and stuff? Why didn't he fight Earl Spence Jr. and dumb casual comments? It's because he has a fight coming up. He has obligations to the MGM, to Showtime. This is his last fight. Nobody's trying to get injured by putting in the best available competition or Earl Spence or somebody who's going to bring you in the trenches. Maybe you fracture or break your hand, or whatever the situation is, and that's reserved for the earlier part of the training camp. So he did what he was supposed to do. First of all, he never really shows people his sparring to begin with. He put himself in there with guys who are going to push and come forward, not just get knocked out in a second, and put on some light work, you know what I mean? And that's really what I'm taking it for. It's not like, oh, he just stopped Golovkin in sparring or something like that. He was in there with guys that he showed him they're the student and he's the teacher, period. But I like what I was seeing from him. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like my video. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video, is Ego signing off.